You bastard. Alright, am I fixed? Hey, I'm fixed. What's up? What's going on? Are we ready to do this? Are we ready to do the Bluey Season 2 tier list? Definitely not having any last minute tech problems or anything. YouTube not asking me to sign in to make sure I'm not a bot. Everything definitely isn't ruined. Let's get upstairs. Let's talk about it. Alright. 1 second. 1 second. I just need to push some buttons on my phone real fast. Let me get these curtains up. Alright. Alright, we're good. Hi, kitty. What's going on? I think this hat's too tall. I think I need to switch hats. Let me switch hats. This hat's not ready for prime time. Let me know if I sound dramatically different than I should. I should sound normal. But if I don't, let me know. Let me do this. This apple crisp is making you cry. Is it so good? I had it. It was very good. What hat am I wearing today? I'm gonna get rid of this hat. Let's pop this one down. Are we wearing the Link hat? I already wore the Link hat. I was gonna wear the cowboy hat. There we go. Let's wear the cowboy hat. Excuse me, that was gonna be my go-to. And also, what are we listening to? We're not listening to the Prison Time for Johnny Somali YouTube video. How about we listen to Synthwave, I guess. The thing I was going to listen to is mad at me right now. It makes me want to log in, and I'm not going to. Alright, fine. We'll just listen to Synthwave directly. And you over here. Yeah, that was some damn good apple crisp. Let's play, not play. Let's do some tier listing. So, we did this like what, a month and a half ago? We ranked the first season of Bluey. We Kitty and I, we watched quite a few Bluey episodes. We're Bluey fans, and I think it is now time for us to go into the next couple episodes. There's 51, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to do this in a very similar style to how we did this last time. I've got my pile of screen captures, and we're going to go over the episodes, and we're going to discuss which are the best, why they're the best, how they're the best. And just a quick caveat: I did put us in the I did put us in the Bluey video game category. We're not playing the Bluey video game, so if for the VOD's sake, if anybody's looking for the Bluey video game, that's not what we're doing tonight, and I'm terribly sorry. I'm doing a ruse. I'm joshing the internet. So, the first episode of Bluey that we're going to be starting with is Hammer Barn. We're going to start with this one. So, Hammer Barn, first episode of season 2. That said, there's actually like 4 or 5 different numbers of how the seasons go. This is going to be how the seasons are placed in the Disney Plus season list. So things might be out of order, but this is how they are based on Disney Plus. So at the beginning of the episode, Bandit and Chili are doing some household chores, and Chili's like, our house is so broken and gross, and it's like, our house is so, we need to go look and to get another house. And Bandit's like, our house is great, it's just got character. And she's like, I know, but I wish we had just, our house looked just a little better, and we had a little less stuff to worry about. And Bandit's like, you worry too much. Stop focusing on the negative. You like Hammer Barn? I also like
I'm gonna
Hammer
do a
Barn.
random sound effect. Watch your ears.
That's probably fine. I like Hammer Barn too. Just spoilers, but Hammer Barn's a good episode. So the two kids come up, and Bluey's like, "Mom, Bingo has Bingo's watermelon is redder than mine is." And they're like, "No, it's not." And then Bingo's like, "Yeah, it is. Check it out. Look how red my watermelon is." And Bandit's like, you stop worrying about what your neighbor has. The grass is always greener on the other side of the fence. And then from the other side of the fence, they hear their neighbor, Lucky's dad, Pat, and he's like, "Hey, Bandit, check out my new stove. I'm gonna make pizza outside, and it's gonna taste real good. Yeah, I'll give you a piece." And Bandit's like, "We're going to Hammer Barn. We're gonna go get ourselves a a stove." And the kids are like, "Yay, I love Hammer Barn." And Chili's like, "Yeah, grass is greener on the other side of the fence, isn't it, big guy?" So they get to Hammer Barn, which is basically, I want to say it's like a Home Depot, or whatever the equivalent of a Home Depot is in Australia. What's the equivalent of a Home Depot in Australia? Let's ask. What's the equivalent of a Home Depot in Australia? Oh, I don't even have my bots up, do I? No, I don't have any of them up. No wonder it's not responding. Hold on. Let's get those bots working. How are you, Kitty? Did you have a nice weekend so far? The weekend's almost over. Let's get Butts bot. Let's get the other bot. All three of them. There we go. All right. Let's ask that again. It's Bunnings Warehouse. So allegedly, take it with a grain of salt, but that's what this is supposed to be. So they get down to this place, and Bandit's like, "Hey, mate, where's your pizza ovens?" And the guy's like, "It's on the other side of the store." And Bandit's like, "All right, I'm gonna go over to the pizza ovens." And Chili's like, "All right, what are the kids eating?" "Oh, they're eating sausages. I didn't even notice they had sausages." That's kind of cute. You learn new things every time. So they shove their sausages down, and then they get in the cart, and then they're like, "Ooh, look, we could pretend that we both have our own sides of the house, and we can pretend to role play that we this is our own territory." So Chili's like, "Here's some stuff for the lawn," and the kids are like, "Well, I want stuff for my lawn too." And Chili, this is part of the episode where I think the parents are doing some poor planning for their kids. I think the kids the entire episode are like, "We've got to have the exact same thing." And by the kids, I'm talking about Bluey. Bluey is basically like, "I need to have the exact same stuff as Bingo, or else it's not fair." So the mom gives them both a garden gnome, and they can both have their own garden gnomes. And then Bluey's like, "Hey, your garden gnome has a shovel." And then Chili's like, "Who gives a shit? They're both the same thing." And Bluey's like, "I give a shit." And Chili's like, "Ugh." So she went and got them a different garden gnome that had a shovel. A random appearance from Winton and his dad. Everyone's eating sausages in this episode. They're still playing with their garden gnomes. They get some fairy lights. And this is the part of the episode where she gets something that she's not going to get two of. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. I think it's a pizza flipper, or at least that's what they use to play with it. And Chili's like, "I'm not going to get two of them. You're going to have to share." And Bluey's like, "You want to trade some plants for the pizza flipper?" And she's like, "No, I want the pizza flipper." And Bluey's like, "Oh, but that's the thing I want to play with most in the entire world." And Bingo, because she's a good kid, is like, "Okay, you can play with it." And Bluey's like, "Oh, heck yeah, flip, flip, flip. I like playing with the pizza flipper." And then Chili's like, "Oh, I need this thing. I need this pizza stone." And Bingo's like, "Oh my God, it's like I have a table." And Bluey's like, "Oh, I want a table. I'll give you back this pizza flipper." And she's like, "No, it's mine." And then they start fighting, and then they end up knocking over one of the Bingo's specifically. They knock over Bingo's gnome, and they you can hear across the store, you can hear Chili shrieking at Bluey, and Bandit's like, that's probably a different Bluey. Chili's over here like, you gotta stop screwing around. You gotta stop screwing around with this bullshit all day long. And Bluey's like, well, I want the things. And Chili's like, you can't just always get everything for free. That's stupid. Not everything in life is for free. And then Bingo's like, look over there. Oh my God. It's a wall of free shit. And then Chili's like, yeah, that's all free. So they end up lining the entirety of their shopping cart with free shit, with the free color samples. I have so much to say about their parenting style in this episode. So they're playing with their color samples, and Chili's like, just because those are free, and the kids are like, oh, I'm sorry, is the lady who said we couldn't get the things we wanted talking? So they get to the checkout, and then they're like, oh, we got to check out all your stuff, honey. We got to boop all your stuff at the cash register. And the kids are like, no, we need to play with our stuff some more. And they're yelling at the cash lady. It's ridiculous. Bandit's no help in this episode whatsoever. Absolutely no help at all. What else did they learn? That's the entirety of this part of the episode. The cashier lets them... she lets them boop some things with the register gun, and they're happy again. So they get home with this easily $3,000, actually maybe not 3,000, at least like $2,000 or $1,500, $2,000 pizza oven, bought on a whim because he was jealous of his neighbor. Serving the world's ugliest pizza. And they're like, well, it's pretty ugly, isn't it? And Chili's like, it's not ugly, it just has character. Just like we said about our house in the beginning of the episode. Aww. You would never leave me like that with the kids? Well, no. We would go together because I wouldn't buy I didn't even think about this, but I wouldn't buy the pizza oven without your input because that's a lot of damn money. So they eat the pizza over here, and Pat's like, hey, you want to try one of my pizza? My pizza's ugly too. Here you go. And they hear Chili over there like, oh my God, this pizza's fantastic. And the frame extractor doesn't catch it, but Bandit gives he gives Pat a high five because they did a good job. Where is my tier list? Where's Hammer Barn? I think Hammer Barn, I'm going to start it at B. I think Hammer Barn has a lot going for it, but I think it has a lot negative. I think that Chili puts up with way too much of their horseshit the entire episode. I think Bandit sort of abandons Chili the entire episode. I think they're not teaching a very good lesson at all that, hey, the neighbor has something cool. Let's go get something immediately. I know they made a joke of it, but that still doesn't make it good. I think B is a good start. I think it's a really good episode, but it has a lot of issues. Feather Wand. So in the following episode, they're getting ready for a party. Bluey is going to Chloe's 7th birthday party, and Bingo's like, "Yay, I want to go to the birthday party." And Chili's like, "Oh, honey, you're not going to the party. You weren't invited." And Bingo's like, "What? I wasn't. What? You wouldn't invite? Why? Why wouldn't they invite Bingo? I'm such a cool character." And Bluey's like, "Well, first of all, I think I broke my wrist. Second of all, it's because Chloe is turning 7, and she's only inviting 7 of her friends, which includes me and not you." And then Bandit's like, "I'm awesome. I'm in the room now." And Chili's like, "Don't worry, honey. You're going to stay here with Dad, I think, and you're gonna have a really good time." And Bingo's still like, "Oh, I don't want to miss out on the party." And Bandit's like, "Don't worry, we're gonna have a really fun time here without going to the party." He's like, "Okay." So she's out in the back porch feeling sad, and then a feather falls from the sky, and she's like, oh shit, it's a feather wand. So the feather wand, she can point at things and it turns them heavy and you can't lift them up. And she's like, oh, heck yeah, I've got a feather wand. That means that everything I point at and I say heavy, it's really heavy. So for some reason, this seems to be a known game because she runs around with the feather wand and she says heavy. And it hits the actual stuff that people are holding. And either they're really good at yes-anding or they've played this game before, because the stuff that she points at and says heavy, they act out the scene of it being super heavy. What does she do? She makes the cereal really heavy. She goes into the bathroom and makes the toothbrush super heavy. And then she's like, Mom, do I have to brush my teeth? And she's like, yeah. She's like, oh, all right, I guess. So then she brushes her teeth on the ground like a dog. This episode has several times where Bluey's like, well, you're the boss. And then she just totally, without a second thought, just starts eating off of the ground or doing things like that. She goes into the other room and Bingo just does more hilarious shenanigans with the feather wand. Things are too heavy. And then they finally figure out that, oh no, it's Bingo doing it. And then she's like, ooh, Dad, is this my cereal? And she's like, yep, I'm going to eat it. Bluey is far too happy to be eating off of the floor. It's been several episodes where I think they are only a step away from their dog ancestry of just being happy to eat off of the ground. They finally realize that Bingo has the feather wand. They run around. She does some gravity-based shenanigans, like she makes the ball really heavy, and then the ball goes down the stairs. What else? What else does she do? She runs into her dad's arms, and she's like, me, heavy. And then she's like, oh, and then he hurts her dad. Oh god, they enlist the help of the neighbor, and he's perfectly happy because he's a yellow lab. He's perfectly happy to run in immediately, and he gets really heavied. Bingo is over here heavying everything, and then they're like, all right, Bingo, you win. And then she's like, yay, and she unheavies everything, and she's like, well, I guess we're not going to the party. What do you want to do, Bingo? And she's like, oh, all right, well, that was fine. You can go to the party. And they're like, wait, you're okay now? And she's like, yeah, I made my own fun. And then Bluey's over here like, well, wait, do we have to go to the party? I want to play Feather Wand some more. I don't want to miss out on Feather Wand. And the parents are like, God damn it, we cause so much trouble for ourselves with these stupid games. And then Bingo's like, don't worry, we'll play Feather Wand later. And I have a good idea of what we can do. And then Bluey's like, oh, heck yeah, I like that idea. And then they get in the car. They go to the party. Bluey's like, look, I came back. Do you want to do that thing? And then they're like, yeah. And then they make the toilet lid really heavy, and Bingo can't go potty, and he goes and pees out in the lawn. And then he says, good morning, Wendy. And it's funny because Wendy sees him peeing on the lawn, I guess. Feather Wand. I think Feather Wand is also a B. I don't know. Feather Wand is good. I might put Feather Wand as a C. I might move it below Hammer Barn just so we can have a threshold. Feather Wand might move up or down, but I like Feather Wand less than Hammer Barn. It's just a bunch of antics. It's really just straight up antics for 7 minutes, and honestly, they could do better, is my humble opinion. I think a high C, possibly B later, but we'll see. Dance Mode is the next episode we got on the list. So they're here at the cafe, and Bingo is getting out of her seat and like screwing around on the ground or whatever. And Bandit's like, hey, is Bingo gonna eat that last chip? And Chili's like, probably not. No, go ahead. And Bandit's like, oh, heck yeah, chip. And then she gets up back into her seat, and Bingo's like, hey, who ate my chip? Dan, who ate my chip? Aw, I'm sad. I'm sad because they ate my chip. And then the parents are like, okay, oh God, I'm sorry that I ate your chip. I'm sorry that he said it was okay. How can we make it up to you? What could we do to make it up to you? And Bluey steps her damn mouth in, and she's like, I've got an idea. Oh, I know, dance mode, yay, dance mode. And the parents are like, oh, damn it, not dance mode. Dance mode sucks. Anytime they bring in a toilet, it's automatically a B. B for toilet, I agree. You mean the dunny, right? That's a very good, that is a very good sweet tea. And by sweet tea, I mean lemonade. And then, okay, so they get out there and they're like, I'm so happy that we have dance mode. Yay, I love dance mode. And Bandit's like, right, okay, you can have 3 dance modes, and that's it. You can only do 3 dance modes. And the kids are like, okay, I love dance modes. So they walk across the street, and they hear some music playing from someone's car, and Bluey's like, hey, Bingo, do you hear that music playing? You want to do dance mode for Mom? And Bingo's like, okay, sure. And Bluey slaps her tail, and Chili has to do dance mode, and she has to dance across the street. And Bandit again abandons Chili in the road, and so Chili has to do dancing all by herself. And Bandit's like, "You did really good, honey." And she's like, "Well, you're gonna dance next time, you son of a bitch." And Bingo says, "Bluey, next time I get to choose it. You don't get to choose it's my chip. It's my chip reward. I get to do it." And Bluey's like, all right, don't worry, but it's fine. So they get into I think this is like the UPS postage store. And Bluey's like, hey, do you want to use your dance mode in here? And Bingo's like, no, there's no music in here, and I want to save it for somewhere special. And Bandit's like, yep, no music in here. Sorry, can't dance unless there's music. And then Chili finds a greeting card that has music in it. It's like a dun 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 kind of music. And then she begs, then she goes over and begs Bingo, can you please use this? Can I please use this card music to make your dad dance in this store awkwardly? And Bingo's like, okay. And so they make the dad dance in the middle of the store, so he has to do some really awkward, wacky dance while he's trying to change his address. These guys really give their kids way too much leeway with these pranks. And then Bingo, what? I didn't notice the dog in the background there, who's sideways, but then I realized he was lying down on a bench. Bluey's like, so what are you going to use your last dance mode on, Bingo? And Bingo's like, what? I haven't used even one of mine yet. You guys used all my dance modes, and damn it. And then Bluey's like, oh yeah. And then they come across, they hear some music, they hear some percussion banging on some drums. And Bandit's like, there's nothing over here. Don't worry about it, kids. And Bluey's like, whoa, what's over there? I hear some cool stuff. And then there's a street performer who's doing one of those bum 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 the pipe performances, and the kids are like, oh my god, that's so cool, we should do the dance mode here. And Bingo's like, oh heck yeah, this is the best place to use dance mode. And then Bandit and Chili are like, oh whoa, this is really public and awkward. I don't know if we want to do dance mode here. Don't you want to do, I think you feel better now. You don't want to do dance mode now. And then he's like, look, I will buy your dance mode off of you. Here is $20. And then Chili's like, Bandit, no, come on. And then Bluey's like, oh my god, it's $20 dues. You could buy a yes no button. You know how much you want a yes no button, right? Really? You want to get the yes no button? And he's like, please, you don't want to make us dance, right? And then Bingo's like, oh, all right, I guess. And then Chili's like, that sucked. That's not good parenting, Bandit. You're not supposed to pay your children. So they go to the gift store, and then Bluey's like, oh, here's the yes, no button. It goes yes, no, yes when you push the buttons. Yes. Isn't this really cool? And then Bingo's like, yeah, it's super cool, I guess. And it's pretty obvious that Bluey is the one that really wanted the button. And then they get into the car, and she's really sad. And Bingo's like, well, why are you sad, Bingo? Did you not want the yes, no button? And she's like pushing the no button. No. And then they're like, but didn't you like your dance modes? And they're like, are you upset that we took your dance modes? Are you upset because sometimes when you say that we're allowed to do things on the inside, you really want to do something else, and you really you don't know, you can't find your words? Is that what's going on, Bingo? And she's like, yeah. And they're like, we're sorry, Bingo. We're sorry we stepped all over you. Is there anything we can do to make it up to you? And she's like, yep, there is. And thank God this guy is still out here wailing on the pipes. So they come out here and they do dance mode with the parents, and the parents are out here like, oh, we're gonna dance for our kids because we played a game with our kids, and the kids walk all over us, and we're gonna just absolutely adorable parenting, but they really give their kids far too much leeway. Dance mode's really good though. It's definitely not an S. I think it's an A. I think dance mode is really fun. I think I think Bandit going back on his deal of 3 dance modes is a little sour. On the other hand, I think, quite frankly, she didn't need any dance modes. I think that Bandit eating her one chip that she was saving, God forbid she be a little sad because she didn't get one last chip. It's like, are you still hungry? Look, if we're leaving this cafe and you're still hungry, we're doing something wrong. You want me to order you some hash browns? I just wanted your damn chip. Okay? I don't know what to tell you. Have you ever had a job you really loved or hated? C? You think C for dance mode? I don't think C. Maybe B. I think a high B. I think there's enough going in dance mode that I think it's a pretty good episode. But C, I'm not for me personally. Well, we'll see about Squash though. Squash might get into C. Squash is the next episode. It is a Stripe episode, Uncle Stripe. So Bluey and Bingo are sitting on top of their heads, and they are controlling them as they walk to the squash courts. And basically the entire time they're saying that, you know, Bandit's gonna beat Stripe because Bandit's the older brother, and older brothers always beat younger brothers. And then they knock Stripe off of the sidewalk, and then Bandit's like, that's because we're the older brothers. We win. And the 2 younger ones are like, oh, that kind of sucks. That's mean. You guys suck. You guys are being mean. This episode of Bluey is called Squash. Bad parenting lessons. There are some bad parenting lessons in the early episodes of season 2. There are some good things too, but we'll see. They get into the squash courts, and the kids are like, well, what do we do? We can't use your iPhones. What do you want us to do? And Bandit's like, well, you can still control us, I guess. You want to, here, these could be the controllers, and you can control me and Stripe. And they're like, okay, I'm going to control you, Dad, because you're the best. And Stripe's like, well, you can control me, kid. And Bingo's like, oh, heck yeah, younger siblings are gonna win. And the others are like, nope, older siblings are gonna win. It is very much sibling rivalry. The episode is Squash. So Squash, predictably, Stripe absolutely gets demolished by Bandits. I think my least favorite part about Squash is how hilariously sweaty these dogs get. Dogs aren't supposed to sweat at all. So seeing them absolutely drenched his sweat is pretty fun. So they continue throughout the episode. Bandit's absolutely demolishing Stripe easily, no problem whatsoever. And then it's like, come on, Stripe, get your head in the game, kid. And then and it's just not happening. And Bingo's like, I think there's something wrong with my controller. And then Bandit's like, it's not the controller, kid. They get to the game point, and he obviously loses tremendously. And Bluey's like, well, that's just because the older siblings always win. Heck yeah. And then predictably, Bingo's like, well, I'm gonna go. I'm sad. And then Bluey's like, oh, come on, but we were just playing. Bandit and Stripe take a break. Stripe goes to go get some water. And Bluey's like, hey, Dad, do you mind letting Uncle Stripe win next time? Because I don't think that Bingo's having a lot of fun. And Bandit's like, well, no, that's not really how this works, kid. I'm not, no. And then, but he's like, you know what? I'm really proud of you for thinking about your sister. I think that's really sweet. And then Bingo's like, does that mean you'll let him win? And he's like, no. And Bluey's like, well, why not? And he's like, well, that's just not how adults work. And Bluey's like, well, that's how kids do it. And Bandit's like, well, kids are silly. And then Bluey's like, what? How very dare you? That's it. Next time. And then he's just completely giving the kids shit the whole time. It's like, kids are silly, nah. And then Bluey's like, that's it. In this next round, I'm going to make you lose. And then Bandit's like, whoa, let's talk this over. You're not going to make me lose with your fake controller, are you? And Bluey's like, you bet your ass Willies I can. Meanwhile, Stripe's over here going frantic with the water fountain, and Bingo's messing with his tail, like, and Stripe's like, what are you doing back there, kid? and Bingo's like, I'm fixing you. I'm fixing you. That my stupid controller is not working, and that's why you're sucking so much ass out there. So I'm fixing your receiver so you can help me, so I can help you win. And Stripe's like, no, it's not the controller, kid. It's all good. And maybe you just want to play with your maybe you want to control your dad next time. And she's like, no, I want to control you. And Stripe's like, are you sure? Because you might actually win if your dad's playing. And she's like, no, because younger siblings don't always get their asses kicked by bigger siblings. And Stripe's like, yeah, that's true. And then Bingo's like, there we go. Heck yeah, you're all fixed now. Let's go kick some ass. And Stripe's like, yeah, let's go kick some ass. Meanwhile, Bandit's over begging Bluey to please don't make him lose the next round. Please don't make him lose the next round. That would make him really sad. And Bluey's like, nope, get fucked. You're gonna lose the next round. Sucks for you. And then he goes like, hey, Bingo, you want me to control you? You want to control me next round? And Bingo's like, nope. Younger siblings are gonna win. And Stripe's like, yeah, younger siblings. And then Bluey's like, Dad's gonna get so fucked. So at this part of the episode, predictably, Stripe absolutely wipes the floor with Bandit. He has a rush of confidence, and Bandit is getting rammed into the wall by the controller of Bluey, which I think they're sort of losing the thread with the moral here, but I'll talk about that more in a minute. Bandit, a sweaty mess, is getting bodied by Stripe. Good pause. Good pause here. Why didn't he stop letting Bluey control him? Exactly. I'm like, look, there's an extent to the game where it's like, I don't know if they even know the limits of the games that they're playing with the kids. And at the end of the game, Stripe's like, we did it. The squash is weird. I don't understand. I don't know if they wanted Stripe to be it feels like they really wanted Stripe to get this confidence burst for him to be like, you know what? You're right. Younger siblings can do it if they only have confidence and the wherewithal to use that confidence. But meanwhile, we have Bluey over here actively sabotaging her dad. So I think the moral is they wanted Stripe to have a strong moment, but it kind of feels like her dad was almost taking a dive. So I don't know if the moral was really I don't know if the moral was really spot on with Squash. I did like it better than Hammer Barn. Did I like it more than Dance Mode? I think so. I don't know if I like it up to an A, but I will move it up to an A just for balance. It may go up or down as we get more. That's an interesting channel. It's a very interesting channel on Roar TV. Squash is good. Squash is really good, but I think its moral gets a little jumbled near the end. What do we got next? Oh, I like how Bluey got to Nana's house and is immediately screwing with Nana's glasses. That's the first thing. This is Charades. This is a Muffin and Socks heavy episode. Also Nana. Excuse me. Her parents always told her to make sure that everyone is having fun. She was doing the same for Bingo. It's very true. I like how you can see Socks in the background there playing with Nana's tail. I think that's adorable. So in Charades, they go down to drop the kids off with Nana. I don't know if Stripe and Bandit are having a dad's day or what's going on, but the kids are with Nana and they're like, look, I forget what. Oh, the kid that Bandit's like, are you sure you're gonna be okay with 4 kids? And Nana's like, you watch your mouth. I had 3 kids. I'll be fine. Piss off. And then she's like, oh, they were like, hey, don't give the kids a whole bunch of ice pops. And she's like, I'll do what I want. Get out of here. Who wants a bunch of ice pops? And they eat a bunch of ice pops. I think this is adorable because Socks is licking the ice pop being held by her sister, and I think that's very sweet. Think this one's an S tier? This one's really good. Bluey's like, Nana, why do we get a bunch of ice pops while we're over here, but we don't at home? And Nana's like, because I do what the fuck I want. What's it to you? And then Bingo's like, I'm done with my ice pop. Let's play charades. And then we're like, yay, charades. So they go inside and they get out the charades. And Muffin's like, how do we do this? How do we play charades? And Bluey's like, well, just watch me. It'll be easy. And so she gets a card, and the card is a duck. So and then Muffin's like, I need to see the card now. And Nana's like, no, you don't look at the card. You got to watch Bluey act it out. And then Bluey's over here, and I think we lose. We're losing the frames, but Bluey pretends to be a duck. And she asks Socks, and she's like, Socks, what do you think it is? And Socks is like, I don't know, because Socks is still a baby. And I think Bingo gets it, and Bluey's like, yeah, Bingo, it was a duck. And Muffin's like, I want to do it. And Nana's like, let's let Bingo do it first. Bingo gets, I want to say she gets a ballerina. She does. And so she does the whole like waving back and forth and doing the ballerina thing. Still asks Socks if Socks knows. Socks still has no idea. Socks doesn't know shit. Socks is microwave and brain, just happy to be here. Somebody guesses ballerina. Everyone's happy, and Muffin's like, it's my turn now. I'm gonna play. And Muffin picks a card, and she's like, I don't want a frog. I want to be the ballerina. And they're like, that's not how the game works, Muffin. Muffin's like, piss off. I want to be the ballerina. And they're like, all right, fine. Just Fine, just give her the ballerina card. Can you find the ballerina card? Can you please find the ballerina card before Muffin has a conniption? And Bluey's like, I can't find it. Do you want to be the car? And Muffin's like, no, I don't want to be the damn car. I want to be the ballerina. I want to be hey, we found the ballerina card. And she's like, well, I need a tutu if I'm going to be a ballerina. Poor Socks is like, yeah, she's like this a lot. So they go into the playroom and they go and find they find a tutu for Muffin to wear. And Muffin's like, thanks, Bluey. And they're like, all right, go do your thing, Muffin. And Muffin's like, I need ballerina music. And this is about the this is the atmosphere of the episode thus far. So Muffin's like, no, I want ballerina music, damn it. And the kids are like, oh, all right, fine, ballerina music, whatever. And Nana's like, all right, come on, let's go find a music box. This'll be good music for Muffin. And Bluey's like, why, Nana, aren't we gonna know that she's a ballerina since we got her all this shit? And Nana's like, yeah, well, we're gonna be nice for the little ones, okay? Because it's just a fun game. And the kids are like, I don't understand. And Nana's like, well, there's only one rule at Nana's house. Everyone gets to do what they want. Meanwhile, Socks has shit on the floor. She didn't shit on the floor. She's a good girl. They play the ballerina music, and Bluey's like, hey, Nana, do you want to pretend that we don't know what Muffin is to make the game a little more fun for Muffin? And Nana's like, that sounds really good, Bluey. That sounds really fun. So they play the ballerina music. Muffin does her ballerina dance. And at the end of it, they're like, what do you think Muffin was? What do you think Muffin was? What do you think she was in her charade? And then they're like, I don't know. What was Muffin? And then over here to the right, Socks is like, ballerina, and then she's like, yay, and then everyone's like, hooray, and it's the end of the episode. You were such a rules girl, you would freak out if it was wrong. If the game was wrong, well, it's a grandma game. So if grandma wants the game to be a little better for the little ones, then c'est la vie. Where am I putting charades? Charades is definitely an A. I don't know if it's an S. I think I like charades better than squash. There's a lot of really good episodes in season 2. I'll put it in S for now. It might take a dip later, but because it had Socks, and Socks was like, Socks saved the day there at the end. So it was kind of really an adorable it was kind of an adorable episode for Socks, and I'll take anything for Socks. The next episode is Bingo. I left this part in. I usually cut out the intros of the episodes, but this is the only episode that has the intro with Bingo, because this is a bingo-heavy episode. I believe it's because Bluey is going... Who cares? Bluey is leaving to go somewhere. I don't know what game they were playing here. Something like you gotta stay in the mom house or something like that. Bandit and Bluey go off, I think, to Mackenzie's house or something like that. And Bingo's like, Mom, can you play with me while while Bluey's gone? And Chili's like, I can't. I gotta go fix the dunny. I gotta go fix the shitter. The dunny is having issues. And Bingo's like, well, who am I going to play with? And she's like, you're going to play with Bingo. Bingo's going to play with Bingo. And Bingo's like, I don't know how to do that. And Chili's like, you'll figure it out. I got to fix the dunny. And Bingo's like, all right, I'm going to go play with myself. What am I going to do? I'm going to play doctor. All right, next patient. Oh, that's not going to work. All right, I guess I'll, all right, Bingo, we can figure this out. What are we going to do next? I spy with my little eye something green. Oh, that's not going to work either. This is difficult. All right, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna play the railing game. I'm gonna play the railing game. Mom, the railing game. I lost the railing game again, and Chili's like, you really gotta stop playing the railing game, honey. It always ends with me getting your foot out of the railing. And she's like, I know, but it's part of the contract. I gotta do the railing game. And Chili's like, that's great, honey. I gotta fix the dunny. And Bingo's like, all right, well, I guess I'll have a snack. Do I want blueberries or raspberries? Or blueberries, raspberries? And as she's sitting here debating it, the fridge is like, beep. And she's like, chill out, fridge. I'm trying to decide what kind of berries I want. And this goes on for like a good minute straight. And Bingo's like, all right, fine, fridge. She keeps like trying to open it and close it, and it's like, I just gotta make a decision. I guess I'll take the blueberries. Shut up, fridge. Because it binged like 8 times. She ate her blueberries, and she's like, all right, I'm not hungry anymore. What else can Bingo do? What's a game that Bingo can play? She starts banging around upstairs, and Chili's like, Bingo, you okay? And Bingo's like, yeah. Chili's like, what are you doing? And she's like, playing hide and seek. And Bingo's like, who are you hiding from? Who's gonna find you? And she's like, oh, I don't know how to play with myself. I'm really bad at this. And Chili's like, I you know, whenever I'm bored, I find a problem to solve. And Chili's like, you know what? That's what you need. You need a problem to solve. You don't need a game. You need a problem to solve. And Bandit's like, I'm back. And I've got a problem for you. Bingo asked me what color is a kiwi? And Bingo's like, oh, I know that. Kiwis are green. And Bandit's like, nah, mate, they're talking about the bird, the big bird over there in New Zealand. And Bingo's like, oh, I know how to figure that out. Can you? And Joey's like, thanks. Can you fix that tile while you're in here? Bingo goes to get her world map puzzle, and she puts together the world map while he's trying to fix the tile, and Chili's trying to fix the toilet. Meanwhile, Bingo puts together the world, and the world is missing New Zealand, which is a joke because a lot of the maps in the world are missing New Zealand. And the joke is also that the New Zealand is attached to Bingo's butt. Let me load that. This stupid Roar TV seems to get stuck on certain channels. It's fine. I'll have to fix that later. Bingo's like, I don't know where New Zealand is, but I know how to fix this. I'm gonna put up wanted posters and see if anybody knows where New Zealand is. And she puts up a whole bunch of posters around the entire house, including inside the fridge, and it's adorable. And then she goes back to the blueberry that she ate earlier, and she's like, "Oh, you found the blueberry, little ant. Good for you. I am so proud of you for the blueberry that you found." She runs off, and nothing happens for a good 5 minutes, and they're like, I don't know where it is, but I put up posters around the house, so I'll definitely will get found at some point. Bluey finally gets home after her 3-minute play date. She hugs Bingo, and Bingo's like, hey, you found my poster? And Bluey's like, yeah, the piece is on your bum. And she's like, oh, yay, Bingos are brown, hooray, and the dunny's fixed, hooray. And that's the end of the episode, and it's adorable. You wish that we liked a good home improvement project? Well, I did kind of enjoy doing the mowing the grass the other day. Like, that was kind of a productive feeling. Bingo is good, but it's not that good. Bingo is very Bingo heavy, and while she's not being annoying, I feel like we're missing something when we don't have Bluey there as well. I like it better than Hammer Barn, I think. Do I? I think so. I think I like Bingo better than Hammer Barn, not necessarily better than Dance Mode, though. Because Dance Mode is also very, very heavy Bingo, and I don't think that Bingo is better than Dance Mode. Favorite thing. Favorite thing is an episode where they're sitting at the table and they're playing. Oh God, I forgot about that. They're sitting at the table and they're eating, and before they eat, the kids do a harvest prayer song that they learned at their Waldorf school, which is more or less a modified religious prayer that has its roots in like those Waldorf schools. They play favorite thing at the table, and Bluey's like, I know my favorite thing. It was when we were at morning tea, and Bandit was trying to eat, or not Bandit, Bingo was trying to eat her cherry tomatoes, and she was like, this is difficult. And then Bandit's like, oh, you must have been trying to say you must have been trying to say two different words at once, and that's where you got confused, kid. And they all had a laugh. And Bingo was like, oh, now I'm sad. Everyone was making fun of me. And Chili was like, oh, honey, it was a joke. We all had fun. It was nice. And of course, she gets her feelings hurt and she runs off. And Chili's like, oh, I got this. I'll go talk to her. And Bluey's like, what was her damn problem? Why did she run away? It was funny. And Bandit's like, well, she probably thought you were laughing at her. And Bluey's like, well, it wasn't. It was funny. And Bandit's like, yeah, she doesn't know that shit. You gotta be aware of your audience. She's very sensitive. And Bluey's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. And Bingo's like, that's okay. And Bluey's like, are you sure? And she's like, yeah, I'm not upset. And Bluey's like, well, you are upset. And they're like, don't worry about it. Just eat your dinner. And Bluey's like, you know what? I know. Actually, I had a different favorite thing. And then they went back to lunch, and they were talking about the impression that Bluey was being annoying by calling everybody dude. And Chili was like, you got to eat your alfalfa sprouts. He's like, okay, dude. And Bandit's like, shut up, Bluey. It's like, okay, dude. And they were all laughing because Bluey was saying dude a lot. Bluey was desperately trying to make Bingo have a nice evening, and Bingo was still, her feelings were still hurt. And Bluey's like, well, let's keep going around the table, find out what our favorite things were. And she's like, hey, Mom, can you make your favorite thing something that Bingo would find funny? And then Chili was like, well, my favorite thing was when we were at lunch, and oh God, she did some weird, gross joke, and she's like, thank you for stirring the toilet. It's like, put your finger in here, and there you go. Thank you for stirring my toilet. And was like something really gross and like preschool-esque. It shows she loves her sister. She does love her sister. I think it's adorable. Bingo went in there and was like, she did some sort of dumb word game, and she was like, say I, say am, say like a doofus or something dumb like that. Bingo's still in a bad mood, and Bluey's like, I know my real favorite thing was when you said difficult, but then, a big whale came out of the sky. It's not getting any of the frames, but they did like a whole sequence of a hippopotamus falling out of the sky, and Bingo had to save it with her jetpack, and Bandit had to kiss the hippo's ass, and it was like she was trying to make up a story to make her sister laugh. Very good pause. And Bluey's like, I've been trying so hard to make you feel better, and you're making me feel bad on purpose. And she's like, no, I'm not. I can't help it. And Chili's like, just leave her alone, damn it. And Bluey's like, well, now I'm sad. And then Bandit's like, yeah, but you're easy to cheer up, dude. And Bluey's like, dude, dude. And then they all start saying dude a lot. And Bingo's like, now I'm happy again because everyone's saying dude. And they decide to keep playing Favorite Thing, except that instead of doing their favorite thing from earlier, it has to be something that's happening right now, and that's the rule. So then they were like, well, nothing's really happening right now. And Bingo was like, this is difficult. And the dad spit out his milk, and then she's like, that's my favorite thing, and that's the end. I wasn't fond of this one. Yeah, I don't know if you could tell it wasn't my favorite thing either. Is it F-worthy? It's not fun. It's not good. It might go right into F. Based on some of the other episodes in this season, it might get an F. It's basically just sitting around the table. Dude. That's the entirety of the episode, is just them sitting around the table chatting about the day and Bingo being hypersensitive like always. Not my favorite episode, but that's okay. Daddy Drop-Off is pretty good. Daddy Drop-Off is an episode that starts with Lila, who is Bingo's best friend, and she's like, hi, I'm Lila, and I want to tell you about me. I'm really scared at preschool, and it's really hard for me to make friends. That is until one day I met my best friend, and it all started with pet feet. And then we get to the Bandit house, and the kids are playing with Bandit's feet. And then they're just playing dumb games with his feet, like, oh, I love my pet feet. And Bandit's like, these kids are such a hassle. And then Chili's like, you're taking them to school, right? And he's like, all right, time to get up, time to go to school. We're going to Daddy Drop-Off, and we're going to be there on time today. And they're like, oh, well, I guess we're playing games too. This episode is Daddy Drop-Off. So he goes in there. I'm not sure what the concept of Daddy Drop-Off is. Obviously, he's dropping off the kids, but it seems like, I don't know if it's maybe Chili just has to leave real early, but I feel like they did not prepare for this at all. Like, they are both there. They could both be making meals for the kids. One of them could be dropping them off. I don't know. I'm not sure about the dynamics of the Daddy Drop-Off day. Chili's still there, but I'm not sure why she's not participating in any of this. Good pause. But they're like, oh, but I want mommy drop off. I don't want daddy drop off. And they're like, it's okay. Dad's going to make it extra fun. It's going to be an extra fun daddy drop off day. So they do a bunch of games as they're going by. Like, instead of having a heavy wand, she's got a slow wand because she picked up a leaf. Okay, I forgot about this. So this entire long sequence is Bandit asking, trying to figure out whether Bingo forgot her jumper at home or not, which is a good 2 straight minutes of her calling to the back, of him calling to the back seat on his pretend phone and being like, oh, thank God. Bingo, did you remember your jumper? And Bingo's like, nope. And Bandit's like, they got to run home, get the jumper, and then go back to the school. And it's amazing to me that they don't even get a little upset, because it's like, dude, you forgot your jumper. We're already running late. That my only real huge complaint about Bluey is the fact that the dad or the parents in general just don't seem to have any form of structure with their kids, it seems like. I don't know. I could be wrong. They walk up to the daycare. They're playing Walk Straight, which who cares? It doesn't even matter. Oh, biscuits. They're really late, so Bandit's like, good job, go wash your face. We gotta go. Let's go. And Bingo's like, but you didn't play wind up bingo. And Bandit's like, well, yeah, but we gotta go. And Bingo's like, but we always play wind up bingo. And Bandit's like, yeah, but we really gotta go. And Bingo's like, but how will I get to class? And Bandit's like, oh, fine, we'll play wind up bingo. So he winds up bingo, and bingo doots into class like a wind up robot. And Bluey's like, Dad, are we extra late because you played wind up bingo? And he's like, yeah, we are, but I'm glad we did it because it was fun. And she's like, me too. And then we get back to Lila, and she's like, me too, because if he hadn't have wind up bingoed, I would still not have my best friend Bingo. And Bingo's like, hey, can you wind me up again? And she's like, wind. And then they pretend to be robots, and it's really adorable. And then it goes, it's implied that they're best friends for the next few decades. Like the frame's not getting it, but it goes to them like getting their diplomas, which I think is really sweet. Where am I putting Daddy Drop Off? Daddy Drop Off is really good, but that whole section of Bluey and Bingo both not telling Bandit that she had forgotten her jumper is a bit of a kick in the dick. It's like you wasted a good straight 5 minutes of drive time. I don't know. That said, do I like it more than Hammer Barn? I don't think so. I think Top of Sea is fair for Daddy Drop. I think it's a good episode, but I think that whole sequence, if they hadn't done the stupid phone game in the car where they were pretending not to know how to answer Dad, was a little frustrating, for my opinion. That knocks it down a few pegs. Sleepy Time. So Sleepy Time starts out with Chili is reading a story to Bingo, and Bandit's like, go to bed. And Bluey's like, I'm not tired. Bleh. And then she falls asleep immediately. Bingo gets another story read to her by Chili, a story about space. And then she's like, all right, here's your story, baby. Go to bed. And then Bingo's like, don't forget Floppy. It's like, can't forget Floppy. And Bingo's like, Mom, I'm gonna have a big girl sleep, and I'm gonna stay in my bed all night. And Chili's like, you do that, baby, but don't forget, I will always be here for you. I'll be here if you need me. And Bingo's like, yeah, all right. And then she goes to bed. She wakes up, and that's actually my shirt. That's not the right button. That's actually what my shirt is. I think this episode is very sweet. Honestly, wrong button. There we go. So she wakes up in space. The Earth cracks, and she comes out of the Earth, and then the bunny comes out of the moon. And then they meet in space, and they do a lot of hugging and dancing in space. They explore. They explore around the universe. And meanwhile, in the real world, Bluey is standing at her parents' bed and wanting a drink of water. Now, this one is a little wild to me because I feel like at this point, Bluey should be able to get her own cup of water. I don't know. Am I wrong? I feel like Bluey is more than old enough to be able to get her own cup of water. So regardless, Chili gets the water, and then she's like, oh, you're just, all right, you're asleep in my bed now. So she goes and decides to sleep in Bluey's bed instead, since her bed was taken over. Meanwhile, in the background, Bingo is going sleepwalking. She is taking a little trip, and she is getting into the bed with the parents, which is now taken up by Bluey. They're having a blanket fight, and Bingo is still asleep and just having the absolute time of her life, which involves slapping her dad in her sleep because she thinks it's Jupiter's. She thinks it's the clouds of Jupiter, but it's really slapping her dad in the face. And then she's pretending or dreaming that she is running along the moon or the the waves of Jupiter, and now Bluey's on the action. They're having a little joint dream and kicking their dad, and then she ends up kicking her dad in the biscuits. Dad's like, okay, I'm going to take you back to bed because that sucks. Dad goes back to his own bed, and Bluey's sitting on the toilet. She's like, Dad, can you sing to me? And then he does a whole singing thing. They fall asleep in the bathroom. Bingo goes back to her parents' bed. Bingo does some more sleepwalking back to her parents' bed. And Bluey's like, night, Dad. Bandit's like, you know what? Fuck this. So he just lies down on the floor. And Bluey falls off the bed and takes the blanket with her, leaving Bingo all by her lonesome. Bingo decides to go back and sleepwalk. She gets back to her own bed, and then her bunny is like, "It's my people. Let's go be with my people." And Bingo's like, "No, where you go, I can't follow, but I'll give you a big hug." So then Floppy goes and joins the rings of Saturn, and Bingo's all sad because there goes Floppy. Chili wakes up because she hears Bingo crying, because of course, you know, that's a parent hearing their child cry. Bingo's impression is that she is suddenly transported to the sun, which is a very clear allegory of oh my god, that's so bright. Of the I'll always be there for you. And Bingo's like, you know what? I have to go. I'm a big girl. I have to sleep. I have to sleep on my own now. And then it's like, I will always be there for you, for you, for you. And Chili's like, good job, kid. She, in her dream, she goes back into her Earth egg, and Chili's like, oh, can't forget Floppy. She brings Floppy back to Bingo. Bingo goes back to sleep. Everybody's asleep. Everybody has a nice dreams, and Bingo wakes up in her own bed, and it's adorable. He gets covers with his underwear, but he doesn't wear clothing. That's very true. They only rarely decide they want to use underwear, which I think is very funny. It's like they don't need, they never wear underwear ever. Sleepy Time is an easy S. Sleepy Time is a lot of people's favorite episode, and I don't know if I necessarily am ready to put it in like top tier episode. Like, it's definitely an S tier, but is it like S tier of all of the episodes? I'm not sure. Definitely S tier of the episodes we've seen so far. Episode that I don't know if it's going to get an S tier, Rug Island. I need a drink. So Rug Island's an interesting one. The kids are awake, and Bandit's getting all his crap together, and the kids are like, Dad, I want you to stay home and play with us. And Dad's like, I can't. I gotta go to work. I gotta go to work. You know, every now and then I gotta go to work. And the kids are like, oh, I wish Dad would play. And Mom's like, look, kids, I got you some pens. I got you some felt pens so you can do some drawing. And the kids are like, Rug Island. And the mom's like, what do you mean? What do you mean Rug Island? So apparently the kids have this thing where they've already decided that if they get a whole bunch of felt pens, they're going to use them to create some form of Swiss Family Robinson, Lord of the Flies-esque random island out in the ocean that grows and subsists off of felt pens. They go about their business collecting pens, which will be like coconuts and sticks and stuff. And then Bingo's like, oh my God, it's a man. A man, who are you? And Bandit's like, oh man, I was going to work, but I don't know what happened. And Bluey's like, that's a man. Let's eat him. Like straight up just starts biting his skin off. And then Bingo's like, well, wait, maybe he wants to live here. And Bluey's like, no, there are no adults allowed on Rug Island. And Bandit's like, well, wait, please, let me see if I'm allowed. Let me see if I can live here on Rug Island. And Bingo's like, let's give him a shot. And Bluey's like, oh, let's give him a shot. And the adults don't belong on Rug Island. And Bandit's like, well, I'll see what I can do. This seems like a nice island. I'll just relax here. And Bluey's like, you'll relax my ass. You live here, you work. Go collect some food. And Bingo's like, well, this is how you know this is a radish and this is a snake. Ah! They do a bunch of collecting, some fishing. They learn how to make a fake fire, which I think is adorable. I'm not really sure what time it is. Is it still early morning? I'm not 100% what the time scale is of this game they're playing. As time goes on, they're like, well, good job, adults. Good job living here on Rug Island with us. You've really earned your keep. You've really earned your keep. And then a ball hits Bandit in the nuts. And the kids are like, oh, heck yeah. Look at this huge egg we found. We're going to eat this egg. And then Pat from next door is like, I don't see the ball, Lucky. Where'd the ball go? And the kids are like, who the hell is that? Who's that? And Bandit's like, well, it's Pat. He probably wants his ball back. And the kids are like, well, no, it's ours. And Bandit's like, well, no, we have to give it. It's his. It's just for the game. We can't keep it forever. And Bluey's like, I told you the adult would betray us. And then Bandit's like, yeah, we can't steal his egg, kids. And Pat's like, well, can I have my ball back? And the kids are like, oh, Dad betrayed us. And Bandit's like, you know what? You can have your ball back. It's a snake. And then they do a bunch of playing with Pat, and it's adorable. And Pat's kid gets into it. I got a cough. Excuse me. It's adorable, but I'm not really sure what lesson they're trying to teach. I feel like, first of all, I know that Chili did not buy that many felt pens. I wonder if this is just the newest pack of felt pens, because she only bought like 20. There's more than that. So the kids are like, you know what, adults, in honor of your bravery, you are an honorary member of Rug Island. In honor of your victory, we will eat the egg. And then they pretend to eat the ball. They do a little more playing and foraging, and then they hear the helicopter come, and it's like, it's me. Adults, we found you. We can bring you back to civilization. And he's like, oh, I guess they're here for me. And the kids are like, you should go. You should go back to your own kind. And Bandit's like, are you sure? Yes, you should be with your own people, but we'll miss you. We'll miss you, human. Or not human. We'll miss you, adults. And Bluey's like, we respect you, and we hope that you are safe. And Bingo's like, here, adult, I want to give you this treasure as your time on Rug Island is over. And he gets back to the mainland, and Bingo's like, what did she give you over there? And he looks at the little felt pen, and he's like, everything. And it's very adorable. How do I feel about Rug Island? I'm not 100% sure how I feel about Rug Island. I like it better than Feather Wand. Do I like it better than Daddy Drop Off? I think I do, but only barely. I don't like it more than Hammer Barn. I don't like the little message that they're trying with the egg when they're like, Bandit is trying to say, hey, the game does not supersede us giving our neighbor back his property. Like, he lost his ball over our fence. We do have to give it back. And then they're kind of like, well, if you give it back, then you're no better than you suck. And that's not okay. So I I don't really know if I love this particular episode, but it is what it is. It was okay. It was okay for what it was. I'm going to be honest with you. I know it's better than Hairdressers, which is our next episode. Can I shut? 1 second. 1 second. Python, where are my pictures at? Python, frame extractor, season 2. We are at knits, right? We're at hairdressers. This is Rug Island. There we go. Hairdressers I just rewatched today. Hairdressers, I'm gonna be real. Yeah, I think you're right, Kitty. I think C is just about right for Rug Island. Hi, Micah. How are you? I think C is just about right for Rug Island. Hairdressers might also get a C. So Hairdressers starts with Bluey playing with her Super Ball in the bedroom, and she's like, "Hey, Bingo, you want to play something? Because I'm getting pretty bored of this Super Ball over here." And Bingo's like, "Oh yeah, let's play and then Bluey's like, "Let's play Hairdressers," and Bingo's like, "Heck yeah." And they're like, "Let's play Hairdressers." So then they're playing Hairdressers in here. The entirety of this episode is Bingo not being able to say what she wants to say, and Bluey keeps talking over her. And Chili is noticing that it's like, "Bluey, you can't keep saying things over Bingo." And Bingo's like, "Yeah, but," or Bluey's like, "Yeah, she's not actually saying anything though." And Chili's like, "Yeah, she is gonna say something. She's gonna say something, but you gotta chill. You gotta chill and let her say what she needs to say." And Bluey's like, "All right, I'll find." And Chili's like, "You gotta find your ears and listen." And Bluey's like, "I found my ears. They're right here." Long nap, MERP. Is that an acronym, or is that what's going on, Vilanoid? And meanwhile, Bandit comes in and she's like, "Hello, ladies. My name is Suave McDick," or something along those lines, "and I own a huge mansion, and I want you to take care of my hair because I am the best guy in the world. I'm just over here in between my interviews and between my millions of dollars." And then Bluey's like, "Oh shit! Wait! Oh no! He's got knits. This guy's got knits. This guy's got lice over here. He's got knits." They never actually say lice. They say knits the entire time. And so they're like, "This episode of Bluey is now called Knits." And then Bandit's like, "Are you sure it's knits? Are you sure it's not dandruff?" And Bluey's like, "You've got knits." And then Bingo's like, "Oh, I know. We should do that." And then she points at the shower, and Bluey's like, "Oh heck yeah, let's put him in the shower." And Bandit's like, "All right, I'll take a hot shower." And Bingo's like, "No, it has to be a cold shower, a super cold shower." And so he takes a cold shower for a few minutes. They beat him. Do it. They beat him with some fake toys for a while. This goes on for a good 5 minutes, and they basically beat the crap out of him. And Bingo's like, what does she go and get? I forget what she goes and gets, but eventually Chili is like, "I appreciate that you're not talking over Bingo, but you need to let her talk as well." And Bluey's like, she's not talking. And Chili's like, "Yeah, well, you need to listen. Stop talking over her and listen." And then finally Bluey's like, "All right, I'm going to listen to you, Bingo. What is it that you want to do to help Dad get rid of his knit problem?" And Bingo's like, "All right, I want to tie him from a tree upside down and throw water balloons at him and sprinkle him with knit powder, which is really flour, and that'll do it." And everyone's like, "Yay, you found your voice." And Bandit's like, "The fuck we doing?" So they throw water balloons at him and hit him with the rake and cover him in flour, and that gets rid of the nits. And then he goes back to Chili. He's like, "Hello, I don't have any nits. Do you want to go out with me?" And Chili's like, "You know what? Sure." And then it's the end of a good episode. And Bluey's like, "You have any other ideas? Because I'm listening." Hairdressers is a terrible episode. Is it? It might be an F. I think I'll put it in D just for now. It might get some balance later. It's a pretty lame episode. Bingo has never had any issue talking in any of the episodes of Bluey. So the fact that she suddenly has a problem talking on this particular day seems a little contrived. But that said, I think it's better than Favorite Thing, and the episode where Bandit gets the shit kicked out of him are pretty entertaining. Sticky Gecko is our next episode. This is an episode where the kids, Bandit is nowhere to be found in this episode. The kids are going to a play date at the park with Judo, but nobody seems to want to go except for Chili. Chili's like, "We got to get in the car," and Bluey's like, "Okay, in a few minutes. We gotta do some shit first." And Bingo's like, "I gotta brush my teeth, and then once you brush your teeth, we can go." And then Bingo's like, "Oh wait, we got to do something real first. We got a Sticky Gecko," and then they throw Sticky Gecko up onto the ceiling. It's one of those really sticky toys that sticks to the ceiling for a long time. And then they're like, "Okay, we got to wait for Sticky Gecko before we leave." And Chili's like, "The hell we do? Get up there and brush your teeth." And they do some more tomfoolery. Bluey's like, "Where's my hat?" And Chili's like, "It's over there. Go get your damn hat." Bingo's like, "Yeah, she can't find her hat, haha." And Chili's like, "What the hell are you? Go brush your teeth. Go. What am I doing with a banana?" And Bluey knocks over the hat rack. They're doing some more wacky shit with the banana. Bluey's like, "Why do I have to clean up the mess?" And Chili gives her an angry look that we missed with the frame. Meanwhile, Bingo's up there brushing her teeth, and she's like, you gotta hold out your hands for Sticky Gecko, because Sticky Gecko's gonna fall." And then they do some more tomfoolery with the banana. Oh god, yeah. She finally brushed her teeth nice. She needs to put on her roller skates. Just so much stupid shit happens in this episode. I know what happened. Chili's like, "Okay, we need to go. If we want to get Sticky Gecko down, go get your hockey stick." And Bluey's like, "I can't find my hockey stick, but I found Chattermax." And Chili's like, "Fine, we'll just use Chattermax." So she slams Chattermax against the ceiling a bunch of times, which Chattermax doesn't like, and shoots a bunch of shit balls out at Chili. Chili's having a bad day. The shoes are on the wrong feet. And eventually Chili's like, "You know what? Fine. Nobody wants to go. We're not going. We're not going to the damn park." And then Chili's like, all right. Or the kids are like, "Fine, we'll play something else." And Chili's like, "No, I changed my mind. We're getting out of here. We're getting out of this damn place." And Chili's like, "We've got to go. Why do you not want to leave?" And they go through this whole, you know how sometimes the parents are like, "Why?" And the parents like, "Because this is how it is." "Why?" "Because that's the way the world does things. Because of how..." And they do the why game for about 15 minutes. Was never a big fan of that. When my kids were growing up. We had the why game did not last long. There are other ways to express creativity. It's like you've got to ask different questions if you want to learn things. Eventually, they go into the whole thing of Bluey's just a little nervous, but because she doesn't want to go to the park with Judo, or she does, but she's a little nervous because she hasn't seen Judo in a while, which is kind of funny because Judo lives next door. Eventually, Chili gets a text on her phone saying that Judo's mom is running a little late, so they can take their time. Meanwhile, Bingo's like, "I'm hungry." And Chili's like, "Well, here's your banana." They finally leave, and Sticky Gecko falls right at the end of the episode. Chili grabs Sticky Gecko. The end. That was really loud. Sticky Gecko is a mess. Sticky Geckos I like better than hairdressers. I like better than feather wands. What am I looking at? Hold on, where's my Discord button? You'd think I know where these things are. Am I on the wrong screen? There I am. That's funny. Where was I? Feather Wand, Sticky Gecko. I like Sticky Gecko, but it's a lot. There's a lot to Sticky Gecko. There's a lot to Sticky Gecko. Also, why is one of them orange? One of whom? One of whomst? One of whomest? What is our next episode? Oh, this is Army. Oh, this. Gotcha. I see what you're saying. Bingo is the only... The opening of Bingo is actually different because it's a Bingo heavy episode. Every other episode is Bluey, but Bingo is at a... wasn't allowed to go to a party, so this episode is all about Bingo. It's the only episode that has an orange intro. This is Army. This is a... Bluey and Bingo are both not present in this episode, or at least barely present. This episode's about Jack. Jack, who we haven't met yet. Jack and Rusty. So Jack basically has extremely heavy ADHD or something along those lines, and everybody's like, Jack, why can't you sit still? Why are you so screwed up? And Jack's like, I don't know. So they get to school. This is like the only time we see Bluey for the episode. Bluey and Chloe are playing over here. Is the last name off? He's a Jack Russell. That will come up later. So they get to the play area. So they get to the school, and Calypso's like, "Hey Jack, welcome to school." And Jack's brother's like, "He's a dipshit. He doesn't pay attention well or anything." And Calypso's like, "Oh, dipshit. Oh, why don't you go play with that red Kelpie over there?" And Jack's like, "All right." So they go down to the to the barrier over here, the foliage. And Jack's like, "Hi, I was told to look for a red dog and to play with the red Kelpie." And Rusty over here is like, "Huh, that depends. Are you good at being in the army?" And Jack's like, "I don't know." And Rusty's like, "Well, can you take orders? Are you good at doing stuff?" And Jack's like, "No, I'm bad at doing things." And Rusty's like, "Give me 20, soldier." Up two. So Rusty's like, and then now back and forth, hep two. And Rusty's like, "Attention." It's like, "Yeah, you'll do. You can be my private." And Jack's like, "Oh, heck yeah, privates." And this episode of Bluey is called Army. And Rusty's like, "All right, we're gonna go out into the field. Get all your shit together. You got a hat?" It's like, "You can have my spare hat. You can have my spare hat till you get your own hat. Let's go." into the brush, soldier. They do a bunch of hand signals, and he's like, "Rusty taught me how to do hand signals and go up and down and go left and right. And he told me when to get down and shut up." We went down into the foliage and we did push-ups. And he taught me the lay of the land and where the landing zones were and where we would need to go if they needed to pick us up in danger. And Jack's like, "Oh, I have a hard time remembering things." And Rusty's like, Don't have a hard time, because if we need a pickup in the danger zone, we need you to know exactly where to be picked up from." And Jack's like, "Oh shit, okay, I'll do my best." They do some more. Jack's like, "My favorite thing to do was look out. I was supposed to watch out for bad guys." And Rusty's like, "You're doing a great job. You're doing a great job, Private. Have some hardtack." And Rusty and Jack's like, hey, how do you know so much about the army? And Rusty's like, my dad taught me. My dad's in the army, but he's in the army, but he's gonna be back real soon. And Jack's like, oh, okay, cool. I want to meet your dad. And Rusty's like, all right. And they're like, wait, I see something out in the brush. And they find like a wild turkey out in the brush and they run from it. And Rusty's like, shit, we're surrounded by turkeys. We gotta call to dispatch. What's our position? What's our position, Jack? And Jack's like, I knew it was up to me. To find out where to go. And then he did radio the right spot. It was like landing team 10 or some shit. And then Rusty's like, we gotta run, soldier. Do you know how to run? And he's like, you know what? Running's something I'm real good at. I'm a Jack Russell. And he's like, whoa, he can run like the Dickens. So they run to the landing zone, and he's like, well, Jack, I don't know what your problem. He's like, do you have any friends? Something. It came around to the way of him saying something along the lines of, I have something wrong with my head, man. I've had a lot of fun today, but sometimes I have a hard time paying attention. And Rusty's like, oh, you're pretty damn good at being a private. So Bluey's still got a saddle. I don't want to know what adventure is going on with their day today. Rusty and Jack get back to Calypso, and Rusty's like, good job, cadet or ensign or whatever the hell the next I think he was a recruit before, and now he's a private. He got a field commission, and Jack's like, oh, heck yeah, I'm a private. And then at the end of the episode, I skipped over it, but Rusty was like, my dad gives me condensed milk when he comes back. I'm going to get a condensed milk when he gets back from the army. And Jack's like, when he gets back to his house, he's like, Mom, can I have my condensed milk? And Mom's like, where'd you get that from? He's like, Rusty gave it to me because his dad came back. His dad came back. He said he'd be back so soon. And who knew? Who knew he'd be back today? That's such good timing. Army's really good. Army's a really good episode. No, he does not have a missing limb, but the fact that it's like, my dad will be back so soon, and it's literally today, is a little contrived. It's a little tiny bit contrived. Oh, what's our next episode? Fancy Restaurant. Fancy Restaurant starts with Dad clipping his toenails in the living room, and Chili's like, oh, yeah, very sexy. And the kids come up and they're like, hey, Mom and Dad, can you kiss each other? And Bandit's like, heck yeah. And then Chili's like, wait, stop. Why do you want us to kiss each other? And the kids are like, because we like it. I'm making a little fun, but that's basically what they are. They're like, because we like it. And they're like, okay, that's weird. Can we do something a little more romantic than us just kissing each other in the living room? And they're like, oh, I've got an idea. Let's play Fancy Restaurant. And they do. They open up a restaurant on their back porch. And Bandit's like, oh, you're going to love this new restaurant. And the kids are like, welcome to the Fancy Restaurant. Do you have a reservation? You're going to have to call. Beep, boop. We could sit you. All right, how many do you have? What's your name? And it's like Suave McFancy. Come on in. So they get to a table in the playroom, and the chef, who is Bingo, gives them their meal, which is, here's your beans. And Bluey's like, oh, don't mind her. She's new. Sorry. What do you want for dinner? and Bingo's like, Chili says, what do you have as the special? And Bluey's like, let me check with the chef. Hold on a second. Hey, chef! What? What's the special? What? There's no special. And she's like, they're going to do something really fancy. And then she comes out here and plays her guitar very terribly. Chili is saying, if you'll excuse me for a second, and Bandit's like, you're leaving me? It's like, I'm just going to the bathroom. She pretends to go to the bathroom in the corner, and Bandit's like, you gotta fancy this up, guys. Your restaurant sucks. And eventually, Bingo decides she's going to make something extremely fancy with real food. Whatever this monstrosity is. That thing is awful looking. So they bring the food to the table, and Bandit's like, oh, okay, well, this is really good. And they pretend to eat it, and it's like, no, this is real food. You have to real eat it. And Bandit's like, wait, I know this isn't romantic, but can we swap meals? Because she ended up ordering the special, and Bandit's like, here, you have my beans, and I'll eat this delicious meal. And Chili's like, now that's romance. Which is adorable, which is a very sweet gesture. Now, Bandit eats the entire monstrosity, and I can't explain why. There was no reason to eat the entire thing. I think that eating a few bites of just the Jell-O probably would have been fine. That said, eventually they're like, oh, you had a lovely meal, now you're gonna kiss. And Chili's like, wait, no, we're gonna go for a moonlight walk. And she brings him out to the backyard just in time for Bandit to retch right as the kids are leaving. Fancy restaurant. I like it better than hairdressers. I'm going to drop Feather Wand to D and move Fancy Restaurant up to C. I'm going to move Fancy Restaurant above Sticky Gecko, but not... Actually, yeah, I'm going to put it above Daddy Drop Off as well. And you know what? Let's go crazy. I'm going to put it above. Rug Island. Do I like it enough to put it into B? I think so. I think I like it enough to put it into B. It's not above Hammer Barn, but I think I like it enough to put it into B. Stump Fest. This isn't Stump Fest. Where's Stump Fest? Where is Stump Fest? Do I have Stump Fest in here? I should. Do I not? All right, I guess we're skipping Stump Fest and we're going to the show. All right. Where is the show? We're skipping Stump Fest. So the show, hold on, I'm getting out of let me get back into autopilot here. So the show is an episode of Mother's Day, I want to say. And they decide to bring they bring Chili breakfast in bed, and Bingo fucks everything up and knocks all of the food onto the ground, and she runs away sad. You can't see it because it's behind me, but she runs away really sad. And Bandit's like, yeah, I thought that might happen. Bingo gets really sad and she cries in the closet, and Chili's like, you know what? When I'm sad, you need to get a checklist. You need to pick yourself up. You need to have a good cry, pick yourself up, and keep going. Something along those lines. And Bluey's like, that's great advice. Let's put on a show for Mom for Mother's Day. And actually, is it her Mother's Day or for her birthday? I don't even remember. One of the two. I want to say it's Mother's Day. So they decided to put on a show for Chili, specifically. And it's out here on the back porch, and they're like, "Ooh, I love going to the opera, going to the show." And Bluey's like, "All right, go enjoy the show." And Bluey's like, "Okay, you can be Mom because you're red, and I'll be Dad." So they do a where did Mom and Dad meet? And eventually, Bluey's like, "Hey, Mom, what's your not Mom name?" Chili. She's like, okay, so Chili is walking along, and she meets this guy. And what's your not what's your not dad name? And she's like, well, it's Bandit. And where did you guys meet? and Chili's like, well, there's a bit of dispute about where we met, but let's just say we met in London. And because in season 3 we're actually going to learn where they supposedly met, and Chili doesn't remember it. Bandit definitely does. And the kids are like, oh, London? That means you were with the Queen. And then they were having lunch with the Queen, and that's what Chili was doing. Meanwhile, Bandit shows up, picking his nose and farting and being basically just a general nuisance. And pretend Chili is like, oh, you're so sexy. I want to marry you. And eventually they go backpacking in India, which is canon to what Chili and Bandit actually did. And eventually they're like, oh, I love you, babe. You want to get married to me, babe? And she's like, oh yeah, I want to get married to you. I want you to kiss my feet. Oh yeah. I don't even know what's happening with this pointing. Oh yeah, that's right. I want you to kiss my belly button. And Bandit's like, it didn't happen like that. And Chili's like, oh yes it did. They get married, and then they decide to have the baby, and then they blow up the baby in the tummy, and it's a blue balloon because it's Bluey. So Bingo comes out, and she's pregnant with the baby. Hold on, I almost banned Kitty there. Let me push the right button. You don't even get a train. No trains today for you. So she puts the balloon under the tummy to pretend to be pregnant with Bluey, and they do a bit of a bounce game, like, hey, bounce the baby, and then Bluey's like, and then what happened? And then the balloon exploded. The balloon blew up. I don't have the frame, but the balloon blew up. Were you talking about American Werewolf in London? I was not. No, they had pregnant. No, they said they were meeting in London is where they allegedly met, even though we'll learn in season 3 that's not what happened. I don't have the frame, but the balloon exploded right after this, and then Bandit put his hand on Chili's hand. And then Bingo ran off because she screwed everything up again. And Bluey's like, ladies and gentlemen, shows, hold on. Hold on a second. Watch this dance instead. So they put Chattermax out there, and they're like, God damn it, I don't want to watch Chattermax. Bluey's out here in the back with Bingo, and she's like, look, the show's got to go on, man. And Bluey's and Bingo's like, I'm just gonna screw it up again. We've got more balloons. Oh well, we don't have a blue one, so it won't be me. Eventually, well, what happens? Oh, that's right. Bingo's like, okay, I'm gonna do my checklist. I gotta pick myself up and have a good cry and keep going, just like Mom taught me. And eventually, the story progresses to be, instead of being pregnant, now Bluey the baby is out here. And Bandit's like, oh wait, I'm Bluey? Is that right? Oh, I guess I made a big poopy doopers in my diaper. Ooh, I'm Bluey and I'm pooping. All just the dumbest shit in the world. and Chili's like, I loved it, thank you, and it was a nice Mother's Day or whatever it was. The show is really good. The show is easily an A. So when they did the balloon, it's been confirmed by the show creator that Chili has had at least one miscarriage, or at least that's what this is referencing. So this whole consoling, this whole learning and picking yourself up and moving on, that was like direct from the show creator in reference to like a real life events and things like that, and I think it's really sweet. it's definitely a bit of character progression with the characters, and I think that is sweet. Lost on MP3. No comment. Do I like it more than Army? I think so. Me personally, I like the show better than the Army, and I like it better than Squash. I don't think the show is an S tier for me personally, but I think it's really good regardless. We're still not doing Stump Fest. I guess we're moving on to Tipple. We're moving on to Tipple Crabs. Tickle Crabs starts off with the parents are in the living room and they're like, Bluey's like, hey Dad, can we get married? And Dad's like, no. Bluey's like, why? He's like, because I'm married to your mom, you weirdo. And Bluey's like, oh, because she's your true love. And Bandit's like, yep. And Bluey's like, what is a true love? And Bandit's like, well, it's true love, someone who will always be there for you. And Bingo's like, let's play Tickle Crabs. And Chili immediately runs away. And Bandit's like, wait, what? This episode of Bluey is called Tickle. Wait, no, we're not playing Tickle Crabs. The only time they've ever said no to them playing a game has been for Tickle Crabs so far. And the kids are like, wait, what? Why don't you want to play Tickle Crabs? And Bandit's like, I hate Tickle Crabs. And the kids are like, why not? It's fun. It's like, yeah, because you're the crabs. And Bandit's like, I'm not playing Tickle Crabs. Piss off. The kids are like, okay, we need to do our hugest beg yet. We need to be really, really, really sweet. They're doing the whole Puss in Boots look. Like, okay, put your ears back. I need a good cry, and I want you to hold some stuffed animals. All right, let's go talk to Dad. And they talk to Dad, and they're like, what do you doofuses want? And they're like, why don't you ever play with us? And he's like, what? And then Bluey's like, you're always at work. And Bandit's like, I am never at work. And Bingo's like, you never play. You don't love us. Why don't you love your children? And Bandit's like, good Christ. Fine, we'll play Tickle Crabs. And of course, because it works, because they capitulate, it actually works. And they're like, yep, this episode of Bluey is called Tickle Crabs because Dad's a bitch. So Dad's on the back porch and he's like, oh, I love sunning on the back porch. I love being at the beach. Oh, I love the beach, but I wish my true love were here. Anyways, I better get ready to go home. And then the Tickle Crabs hide under his blanket, and he's like, all right, I guess I'd better pick up all my stuff and head back from the beach. Boy, I love driving back from the beach. Let me dump all this shit. I'm just going to lie down on the couch. And the Tickle Crabs escape from the bag, and they're like, oh, what the hell was that? What's tickling me? Must have been my imagination. And then the Tickle Crabs go over there and start tickling him. And he's like, oh, shit, I got Tickle Crabs from the beach. I hate Tickle Crabs. And then they go over and they're basically, their job is they're just running around the house going, tickle, 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 tickle. That's basically their entire job, the entire episode. So they chase Dad into the kitchen, and Dad's like, oh, you can't get me. I'm up here. I wish I had a true love to save me. Aha. I'll find some glue, and I'll glue them to the wall. And they're like, tickle, 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 tickle. And he's like, oh, I bet you'd love to tickle these succulent ribs, wouldn't you? Oh, yeah. And they're like, unglue, 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 tickle, tickle, tickle. He does more crying for Mom, and he's like, wait, who are you? He's like, I'm hiding from the crabs. I don't want to be tickled. He's like, yeah, I wish I had a true love that would be there for me. And she's like, yep, bye. And then the crabs tickle him some more, and he's like, that's it. I'm going to bring these crabs back to the beach where they belong. So he brings them back to the beach, and he throws them out into the waves and throws them out to sea. And he's like, thank God I don't have Tickle Crabs anymore. I'm so happy. And then they're like, and then the waves bring them back to shore. The Tickle Crabs are back. And he's like, oh, you know what? At least, I might have tickle crabs, but at least I'm no longer lonely. And then a toy falls from the sky because there's a seagull. And then the seagull comes down and grabs the tickle crabs, and she's like, I'm gonna. So she runs off into the yard, and she's like, "It's my one true love. Thank you." And it's like, I'll always be there with you, one true love, but I just need 30 minutes on the couch. Bye. It's an adorable episode. There's not really a lot that's going on in Tickle Crabs, but it's adorable. I like it better than I like Rug Island. I don't like it more than Fancy Restaurant. I think Top of Sea is just fine for that one. I think Top of Sea is A-okay for Tickle Crabs. Escape. What time is it? We're behind. We are straight up behind. We might need to hustle tomorrow. Escape. Have I tried barbecue sauce ever? Ever? You remind me of being in the bar when some ladies have had too much to drink. It's does not surprise me. I have had barbecue sauce, yes, but not recently, no, for my tickle crabs. I don't have tickle crabs. Thank you very much. That's a authentically Australian problem. So The Escape is an episode where they are bringing their kids to Nana, and they're like, the kids are like, "Why are you guys leaving us at Nana's?" And they're like, "Because we're going to get away from you guys for a few days. We're gonna sit on a beach and drink some coconut drinks." And the kids are like, and there's gonna be no kids allowed. And the kids are like, "What the hell? What do you mean? You're not allowed to escape from us." And the kids are like, "We're gonna come get you." And the parents are like, "Oh no, you're not. We're going to build a huge 50-foot wall so you can't get to us." And the kids are like, "Well, we're going to pay an eagle to fly us over the wall." And then they're like, "Well, we're going to put a big, huge bramble bush so you can't get to us." And the kids are like, "Well, we've got a huge lawnmower, so we're going to mow right through it and get to you." And the parents are like, "Well, we're going to go into a bomb shelter and you can't get down to us because you can't, it's metal." And the kids are like, "Well, we've got an axe." And they're like, "Well, the axe would break." And the kids are like, "Well, what would break through this metal thing?" And and Bandit's like, "Maybe diamond? I don't know." And Chili's like, "Don't help them." And they're like, "Okay, we'd use a diamond axe and we'd get down to you." And Bandit's like, "Oh shit. All right, we'd go through the back door and we'd use a super cool car." And the kids are like, "Well, we'd use our super cool car that we drew. It's got like 20 rooms and 30 Burger Kings, and it's driven by our butler named Gerard." And then the kids are like, or the parents are like, "Well, that's really cool. We're gonna get into a helicopter and escape from you." And they're like, "Well, that's fine because the Barbie dream house that we developed can also fly. Our butler designed it." And they got a grappling hook for the parents, and then they're like, "Oh, we'll just jump out, and then we'll jump out, and then we'll chase them to the edge of a cliff." And then the kids are like, "Aha, we got you." And the parents are like, "Fine, all right, you got us. I don't know what you want. You got us." And the kids are like, "Well, no, you gotta keep running away. That's the fun part. You gotta run away." And the dad's like, "Oh, no, you caught us. We love you, and we're gonna spend some time together now." And the kids are like, "Piss off, get away from us." No, and so now they start escaping, and the parents are like, "Well, we're gonna chase after you." And they it's basically just the same thing in reverse. And then they paid Gerard. It's like, "Gerard, you work for us." And then they're like, "Well, we gave Gerard a coconut drink, and now he works for us." Is that a second barrel roll? And then the kids go up into a rocket ship and go up into space. And the kids are like, "Well, you're not going to be able to breathe out there in space." And then eventually they fall off the rocket ship and fall back to Earth. And the kids are like, "Yay, we won, we escaped." eventually they get to Nana's house, and I forgot to mention this, but at the beginning of the episode they were like, well, at Nana's house we can watch a bunch of TV, and Bandit's like, you're not watching any damn TV at Nana's house. And they're like, why? It's like, because you watch too much as it is. So they get to Nana's house and they're like, Nana's like, oh, they're gonna have a great time. You guys want to watch some TV? And Bingo's like, oh, heck yeah, I love TV. Bluey's like, well, no, wait, let's do some drawing. I like drawing. And Nana's like, oh shit, okay. I thought you guys liked technology, but I've got some paper and some crayons.
Disappointed.
Bye.
Bye.
You have fish and orange juice because meals are nonsense anyways. What's wrong with that? Fish and orange juice is perfectly fine. And then the kids do some drawing and they're like, look, this is our Barbie dream house that we chased the parents in. And that's us on Mars. And Nana's like, you guys are really clever. Who taught you all this clever stuff? And they're like, there was someone really special. Escape is good. Where do I like Escape? I like Escape more than Sticky Gecko. I like it better than Daddy Drop Off. It's actually really cute. I like it more than Hammer Barn.
Are you guys enjoying the stream today?
I might be willing to put it... I don't like it more than Army. I don't think Escape's better than Army, but I think it might... It's not better than Dance Mode either. And I might move Dance Mode up to A. I think top of B is perfect for Escape. Quite honestly, at this time. I think right there is about a perfect spot. Is this Trains? Trains. Okay. So Trains is an episode where that basically revolves around a Bingo going from different places. You remember Tulip? The train system in Tulip? There's Bingo waiting for the train, and the train is run by Bandit. Bingo gets on the train, and she goes to a child care group to drop off her Bartholomew, or whatever his name is. She's like, have a good day, Bartholomew. And now she gets on the train, and she works at her job as a veterinarian. The entire episode, the parents are running between room to room, which I think is awfully adorable. Bingo's like, well, I'm gonna take care of this polar bear for you. We're gonna be really good. And then she does like 5 seconds worth of work, and she's like, done for the day. The train re-arrives, and Bandit takes her off back to pick up her kid at the daycare, and then back to her home. Meanwhile, Bandit goes to the next stop, which is where Bluey is. Bluey is not being as nice. Bluey takes up like 3 seats and puts her feet on everything and has drinks. And she's like, hey, where's your ticket? Feet down. Your cat can't be here. You got drinks. I don't know what your problem is. And she's like, here's my ticket. The ticket's actually a frog. Ha. You can't... And they're just having there's an issue at the train station. Meanwhile, Bingo is not able to get to her daycare with her kid because the train is late. Finally, the train arrives. She's like, hurry up, we got to get to work. The daycare is like, oh, I'm sorry, honey, you missed story time because your train was late. She's like, oh, that's okay, I'll do what I can. The train is late again because Bluey is causing issues over here at the train station. The cat's being a monster. The train is super late, and Chili at the veterinary office is having some issues with the polar bear. Bandit's having a rough time of it. And quite honestly, so is Chili at this point. I think the moral of this story is messing with the train system, messing with the train schedule, messes with all of society. The train arrives and she's like, the polar bear got loose. The polar bear got loose and this happened. They're all dead. And then Bluey is still causing issues over here. Eventually, I think the polar bear ended up like, because the polar bear got loose, the polar bear ended up like biting the cat, and Bluey's like, wait, no, the cat got hurt. We gotta take the cat to the vet. And Bandit's like, one way to the vet. Meanwhile, I forgot that these two were just pretending to be nanas for about 5 seconds. And they're like, I wonder when the train's going to get here. Well, soon, probably. And the train rushes past them without stopping. Bluey arrives at the veterinary office, but the vet isn't there because the train schedule's all screwed up. So they bring the cat to Bingo's house, and they're like, look, we know you couldn't make it to the office because the train system's all screwed up, but can you take care of this cat? Can you take care of this cat while you're here at home? And she's like, yes, fix, all good, hooray. And then Chili's like, well, why don't you just run a at-home vet clinic and you can take care of your pets here? And Bandit's like, good, because I'm not dealing with any more damn animals. I hate these animals. Got a polar bear, got a cat. It all sucks. Trains. I don't like trains very much. I like trains less than I like feather wand, but I like it more than I like hairdressers. Trains is a lot of running around. Trains is a lot of just running from place to place, and it's just too much, man. It's way too much. Is the next one Queens? I think let's do one more. Let's do one more episode. I know I'm a little behind where I should be because we're gonna have a lot to catch up on tomorrow, but I think we can do it. We could probably do it. I don't know, but I'm pretty tired, so we're definitely gonna finish up on Queens. So Queen starts with Chili is on the back porch cleaning up parakeet shit off of the back porch. And Bingo's like, hey, while Mom's cleaning up parakeet shit, do you want to play Queens? And Bluey's like, oh, heck yeah, Queens. And Bluey's like, presenting Queen Bingo. And Bingo comes in and she's the queen and like, oh my goodness, look, the queen is here. And Chili's getting into it. And Bingo's like, I'm the queen. I want to be... I want to be pampered. And Bluey's like, absolutely, my queen. I'll do whatever you want me to do. I don't want to step on the royal rug. So here is some. I don't want you stepping on the royal rug. So you're going to stand on these blocks. You're going to stand on these blocks. The rug's only for the queen. And then I forget what's happening here. I think Bluey is singing for the queen because the queen wants to be regaled with song. And on the back porch, Chili's like, "Oh, I love your voice, court attendant." And then Bingo's like, "I want to go travel," and Bluey's like, "Okay, let's go throughout the house and go meet the queen." And then eventually, Bluey's like, "Hey, can I have a turn being queen, Bingo?" And Bingo's like, "Okay." And Bingo's like, here's the queen. And then Bluey does the queen thing just like Bingo did. And Bluey is like, actually, Bingo, you could be queen for a little while. You could be queen. I want to be the butler. And Bingo's like, I don't want to be queen. I want to be the butler and stand on the blocks like you did. And Bluey's like, but I don't really want to be queen. I don't want to be queen. And it's like, well, why don't we both be butlers? And she's like, yeah, let's both be butlers and we can both stand on the blocks. And then they're like, I don't think this works if we don't have a queen. And she's like, yeah, who do we get? Who do we get to be the queen? And then they look at the back porch and Bandit's like, I swear to God, if Pat's stupid tree drops one more leaf into my lawn, I'm going to end his life. And basically they're like, oh, I know who wants to be queen. And eventually Bandit's like, I'm queen. Everyone will do what I say. Because Bandit could get into this game. He's like, I want another iced tea. Get me another one. and Chili's in the background. I love the queen. You're such a beautiful queen. and Bandit's like, silence, peasant woman. And she gives him this look. And he's like, just kidding. Just kidding. Eventually, Pat's out in the back porch like, hey, Bandit, I got another leaf for your collection, buddy. Bandit's like, that sack of shit, I'm gonna kill him. To war. So the queen leaves to go yell at Pat because the stupid leaf dropped into his yard again. And Bluey's like, where'd the queen go? And Bluey's like, or Bandit's like, it's over there yelling at the neighbor. And Bluey's like, oh. And Bingo's like, can you be queen a little longer? I was queen for a long time. But Bluey's like, I don't want to be queen. Fine, I'll be queen. And then Chili comes over and she's like, Queen, if you don't want that ginger beer or whatever it is, like, it was like a ginger ale or something, can I have it? And the Queen Bluey is like, yeah, fine, whatever. And Chili's like, oh, bless you, Queen, bless you so much. And Bluey's like, can I let you in on a secret? Can I let you in on a secret, royal parakeet shit cleaner? Being queen really isn't all it's cracked up to be. And Chili's like, oh, I know, my queen. Sometimes there's, I can understand being a queen. Sometimes there's just stuff you have to do. You have to do it, my queen. And Bluey's like, yeah, you're right. You have to do it. It's part of your job. The queen has responsibilities, damn it. Yeah, it's not all fun and games. Sometimes you gotta be queen. Hey, Butler, get over here. Get over here and do some work. Do some work, Butler. I'm the queen. Some queens don't want to do the job, but I'm going to do the job. It's me. I'm the queen. And you're going to do it. And Bingo's like, okay. Desperately dragging her through the house. So she does the whole thing, and she's like, have I been Butler long enough? And she's like, yeah, thanks, Bluey. And then in the back porch, Chili's like, I finally got all the parakeet shit off the porch. And the kids are like, I know who can be queen. And eventually they're like, Queen Chili. And then it's like, oh, good job, Queen Chili. And finally the person who does all the damn work gets to be queen. And she has a nice afternoon, and it's awfully sweet. Queens is really fun. I like Queens. I like it more than Fancy Restaurant. I like it more than Hammer Barn and Bingo. And I think I like it more than Escape. Again, I don't think it's going to get past dance mode. But I think I like it more than I like Escape, but I don't think I like it more than dance mode. What is the next one we have? It's going to be Flat Pack. So really, am I just missing some episodes from the frame? Oh, I know why I'm missing this. I thought I fixed this. I thought that I did a whole thing. Interesting. Okay, I'll find them for tomorrow. It's fine. Doesn't matter. Okay. So let's look through this. We'll finish up, or at least we'll get a good ways through this tomorrow, I think. An F tier. F for favorite thing. Favorite thing is a bad episode. I don't like it. It's frustrating. And Bingo just acts like a brat the whole time. Hairdressers talking about knits the entire time. Again, any episode where Bingo is being frustrating is not my kind of episode. Trains, a lot of going on and not a lot of actual to do. A lot of rush and hassle. Feather Wand, kind of the same problem. Kind of the same issue with Feather Wand and Sticky Gecko. Daddy Drop Off, like all of those that we just talked about, except for favorite thing, were all just frantic rushes the entire time. Daddy Drop Off would probably be a grade higher if it wasn't for the 5-minute long, or at least 2 minutes. At least 2 minutes of the episode was in the car where Bingo was not answering her dad's question. Very frustrating. Rug Island is just confusing, but do I like it more than I like Tickle Crabs? I feel like Rug Island is better than Tickle Crabs. Tickle Crabs, it's a lot of tickle, 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 tickle the whole time, but there's nothing necessarily wrong with it. Rug Island is bonkers, but it's growing on me. The more I watch of Rug Island, the more it's growing on me. Fancy Restaurant, beans. Fancy Restaurant is fun. The kids desperately searching for them desperately waiting for their parents to kiss is a little off-putting every time I see it, but that's just them. Hammer Barn is fun. Them going to pick up the pizza oven. Pizza ovens are fantastic. Bingo is fun. It's the only orange intro. It throws off the theme of the entire list, but here we are. I didn't make it. Escape is just good-hearted fun, and it's a different style of episode. A lot of it is the drawing Calvin and Hobbes style, which I like. Queens, we just talked about. Don't really have much else to say about it. Just nice. And Chili gets some appreciation, which you got to appreciate. Dance Mode, just good-hearted fun the whole time. A bit of whining out of Bingo, but it makes it a whole lot of whining of the fact that it all started because Bandit ate one chip. And it's just like, just buy her another goddamn chip. Army is fun. Jack and Rusty get a good dynamic. A lot of good lesson there. Squash. Do I like Army more than I like Squash? I don't think so. Not me personally. Squash has, I think it's the only episode we've seen so far with Stripe, and Stripe gets some good moments in that. The show, really good episode, really good moral, really good lesson. Not quite S tier, but really good. Charades is, I think, the only one we've seen with Socks so far, and Muffin for that part. Charades is really good. And Sleepy Time is a lot of people's favorite episode of the entire show. So Sleepy Time is absolutely S tier. Like, it's not even really a question about whether or not Sleepy Time is S tier or not. It's more a question of, is it more S tier than any other episode in the series? Which I don't know if I agree necessarily with that. I don't know. We'll have to see. I think it's not going to pass some of the episodes in season 3. But that is a question for season 3. That was fun. We're going to do some more of this tomorrow. I was going to say get through it, but at the rate we got through these, I don't think that's going to happen. We'll see. That's a problem for tomorrow, though. A problem for tonight is I'm going to bed. Thanks for hanging out. Have a fantastic evening. Do something exciting tomorrow that would just shock and amaze you. It's Father's Day. Say hi to your fathers. Love you. Bye. Mwah.
Please take young children by the hand and look down as you step out onto the moving belt. The belt is moving at the same speed as your vehicle.